Hey guys, this is Vidrock. Welcome to a dual replay of my mill deck that got me to stage 2 of the KC Cup. Full disclosure, this is actually the first duel I did in stage 2. It's not one of my climbing games. I did a few climbing games that were really interesting. I just didn't save the replays for them. So going into it, I'm facing off against Yami Yugi. So my first thought here is Sorcery Conduit invoked. Could be something with Destiny Draw, but more likely it's invoked and he's got Sorcery Conduit as a skill. My opening hand, 2 limit reverses, Kiteroid, Needle Sealing. Not good. 2 limit reverses don't have a target. Kiteroid can help me survive, but surviving before I get my combos going is not good. It wastes my resources when I need them later. And Needle Sealing at least requires a monster on my side of the field too to work. So again, I can't make use of that. So really bad starting hand. He starts first, and he starts with 2 cards face down. Again, assuming he's Sorcery Conduit, I'm assuming one of those is a Cosmic Cyclone. And with that said, I draw another trap that can help me survive, but if he's ready to take out my back row, then putting stuff down right now is a bad idea. With Kiteroid, I can survive any turn 3 he has coming up. So I decide to pass with an empty board, and he just decides to set a card and pass. So we do this a couple more times because I draw another trap I can't use. And his back row's full, so he just waits. Now I draw into a Worm, and I can set it and start getting my combos off. He just passes again. He's not willing to take any risks. So I draw a Glowmoss, and I decide to just go into it to start the mill. By attacking, I make him draw a card. There's Element Saber. So I was right. This is an Element Saber invoked. So, end of battle phase. But there's Treacherous Trap Hole, which is annoying because that's a no-skill card. But little does he know, he just got my combo going because now I'm going to mill his deck. And 3 cards got milled, including Cosmic Cyclone, which is going to be his very next card. And then 2 element field spells. There's Alistair, which didn't search for Invocation, so he just had it in his hand. Bad news here. Invocation brought out Purgatrio using my Worm, so now I can't target it with Limit Reverse or continue to combo off of it. Invocation to get Alistair back to his hand. And then the direct attack. I let that go through instead of using Kiteroid because 1, it wasn't a lethal hit. Better to save the protection for the lethals. And by taking a little damage, I can use Draw Sense low level. And then I draw another Worm, which means I can try to get my combo off again. And now that the game's going, I set some back row. Now he's going to do piercing damage. At 3100, it's going to do exactly 1700 damage. So I have to use Draining Shield to survive, which gives me much needed life points. I set another trap, and he ends the turn with Cosmic Cyclone, which he set turn 1, and I totally called. But he's going to hit that counter gate I just placed, which is fine because I already have another counter gate here, and then I still have a Limit Reverse over here for when he does destroy my Worm. There's a Sorcery Conduit I totally called. Now this is going to hurt because he has not 1, not 2, but 3 Alistairs in hand. Goes up to a whopping 5,900 attack and just demolishes me. I'm lucky Worm has a decent defense, and I got that Draining Shield off when he had a high attack. So I survived by the skin of my teeth. By destroying Worm, he went from 7 cards to 4 in his deck. And now by reviving Worm with Limit Reverse, I'm going to do a Draw Sense low level to get hopefully some kind of protection, which I did. I drew Sphere Karibo. Switch Worm to defense mode, which is going to destroy it. Mill his deck down to 1, and now I'm in a real good position to win. Now he's going to use Invocation with one of his Element Sabers to bring out Cositus. Cositus is a problem because it's in defense mode, so it's immune to Sphere Karibo. And then, here's what sucks. He uses Invocation to to send Invocation back to his deck and Alistair to his hand. Alistair to his hand is not that big a deal, but because he sent Invocation back to his deck, he's not going to deck out. And now he uses Invocation again to bring out another Cositus. So, I use Countergate on the first Cositus. I draw another trap, Drowning Mirror Force. I use Kiteroid against the second Cositus because I have to. Sphere Karibo won't work. And then I use Sphere Karibo against Purgatrio because it will work against him. I better save my Kiteroid. So now I limit Reverse Wormworm, and I'm expecting to win here. Because once it's summoned, I can just switch it to defense position, destroy it, then he mills the rest of his deck, and he's out of cards. Unfortunately, he's ready for me with a Floodgate Trap Hole. So this game's going to keep going. I set my Drowning Mirror Force. I'm not really sure why, because it does not work on Cositus. And then I set Needle Sealing, which is going to help me survive this turn. Because again, Purgatrio does piercing damage. So if I take that piercing damage, I'm screwed. He did the Invocation Loop to put the card back in his deck and then attacks. Needle Sealing will destroy all face-up monsters when there's 4 on the field. Cositus is immune to destruction, but Purgatrio is going to be gone. Which means I'll be safe from the piercing damage. I drew Defense Draw, which was probably the best draw I could have done at the time. Now his turn, he activates Invocation again, and he used his previous Purgatrio to summon yet another Purgatrio. Which means I'm susceptible to piercing again. The Invocation Loop to put a card back in his deck. Alright, now here's where I activate Defense Draw. Defense Draw makes battle damage 0 and I draw a card. It's sort of like Countergate, which negates a direct attack and lets you draw a card. The difference is Defense Draw can be used for any attacks, not just direct. It's kind of like the Kiteroid versus Karibo debate, where Karibo can be used for any attacks, but Kiteroid can be used only for direct attacks. So pros and cons. Now by making battle damage 0, instead of negating the attack, I'm not going to take damage, and he is going to destroy my Wormworm, which is going to mill his deck. Now he's going to attack with Cositus, because I only have the one Kiteroid in the graveyard, so it's possible he could get through. But I used the one in the graveyard to block, and then I used the one in my hand that he didn't know about to block the second attack. And here he surrenders, because the game would have just gone to me and then back to him, and he would have decked out. So there it is. This is my mill deck. It got me through to Stage 2 of KC Cup, through D levels 18 and 19. It started off with me just putting 3 Wormworms in my deck and hitting auto build, and then I kept modifying it from there until I got this magical ratio here. I really like this deck because it's not about... I know people don't like stall, but this isn't straight burn or straight, hey, you don't get to play. This is, hey, you're on a timer here. You need to make something happen, or you're going to lose. I like alternate win conditions as opposed to, hey, let me not let you play Yu-Gi-Oh! Let me wipe your field and let me attack direct for the win. So, yeah, this is a lot of fun. I'm glad I reached Stage 2 with it. I'm sorry if you don't like commentary. I'm not big on just plain replays that are just cards moving on the screen. It doesn't really tell a story like commentary will allow. I know it made the duel take longer than needed, but it hopefully made it more entertaining too, and you understood my thought processes and how the game progressed. Because there was a lot of, sitting on our asses in the start and kind of near the end too. So, I hope you enjoyed the duel. I'm not going to push too hard into Stage 2. All I wanted was the Prismatic Super Rare ticket. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.